The headlines for this hour on VTV News. National Assembly Deputy discussed draft amended laws on pharmacies and cultural heritage. And nurturing traditional friendship between Vietnam and Russia. In our world news, Russian president visit North Korea for the first time in 24 years.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. Continuing the working session of the 15th National Assembly's 7th session on Tuesday, National Assembly Deputy discussed in groups the draft amended law on pharmacies and the draft amended law on cultural heritage.
Most National Assembly deputies support the proposed amendments and additions to several articles of the law on pharmaceuticals. Given that drugs directly impact human health and life, it is essential to strictly regulate the sale and promotion of drugs in accordance with the law.
Currently, there is confusion between advertisements for health supplements and medicines, making it difficult for people to distinguish between the two. It is crucial to amend the law to clearly define responsibilities and address existing challenges and bottlenecks.
Regarding drug bidding regulations, some deputies have proposed that for specialty drugs produced by only one manufacturer or for drugs where there is only one type of product available, there should be a different policy for procurement to ensure patients receive treatment. Additionally, the concept of pharmacy chain should be clarified in the draft law.
Specialty drugs should be eligible for price negotiations to facilitate prompt contract signings for the benefit of patients in need.
According to a supplement to Clause 47, Article 2, a pharmacy chain is defined as a system of pharmacies conducting pharmaceutical business based on a consistent quality system implemented by the pharmacy chain enterprise. However, this definition lacks clarity regarding what constitutes the consistent quality system.
Commenting on the draft revised law on cultural heritage, some participants believe that cultural heritage management needs to be thoroughly assigned and decentralized to localities.
There are over 3,600 national monuments across the country, but many of them are reluctant to undergo restoration due to the complex and lengthy process. It is recommended to simplify administrative procedures and empower local authorities with decentralization to address this issue effectively.
On Wednesday, the National Assembly will hold a plenary session to discuss investment policies for the National Target Program on Cultural Development for the 2025 to 2035 period.
State President Tolam on Tuesday received the ambassadors of Pakistan, Mozambique, and Timor-Leste who presented their credentials. More to follow.
State President Tolam congratulated Ambassador Kodaya Mari on his appointment as Pakistan ambassador to Vietnam, emphasizing the importance of Vietnam-Pakistan relations. He expressed hope for enhanced cooperation in IT, tourism, culture, and education. Ambassador Mari looked forward to his role and hoped Vietnam would have strengthened Pakistan-ASEAN relations. State President Tolam supported this and suggested cooperation in multilateral forums, backing ASEAN's stance on regional issues, including the EC.
Receiving Mozambican Ambassador Ilundi dos Santos' credentials, State President Tolam affirmed Vietnam's pride in its friendship and cooperation with Mozambique. He highlighted the upcoming 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations as a key milestone to reflect on past achievements and anticipate future opportunities. The Mozambican ambassadors expressed her desire for active support from various ministries and sectors to strengthen economic cooperation and people-to-people exchanges. Vietnamese state president endorsed this proposal and hoped that Mozambique would help enhance Vietnam's relationship with the African community.
Upon receiving Timor-Leste Ambassador Joao Pereira's credentials, State President Tolam expressed gratitude to President Jose Manuel Ramos Horta's congratulatory letter and extended his best wishes. He emphasized Vietnam's commitment to strengthening relations with Timor-Leste and urged the ambassador to promote exchanges at all levels and support Vietnamese businesses in Timor-Leste. Ambassador Pereira, impressed by Vietnam's development, pledged to work closely with Vietnamese agencies to enhance bilateral relations.
State President Tolam bid farewell to Swedish Ambassador Anne on Tuesday afternoon, congratulating her on successfully completing her term in Vietnam and her contribution to Vietnam-Sweden relations. He emphasized Sweden's early establishment of diplomatic relations with Vietnam and the lasting friendship and support from the Swedish royal family, government, and people. Ambassador Maui expressed her honor in celebrating the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations, noting the growth in trade and investment in Swedish enterprises in Vietnam. State President Tolam highlighted key cooperation projects such as the Bai Bang paper mill and Central Children's Hospital, and emphasized the need for deeper, higher quality cooperation to achieve mutual goals. He expressed confidence that Ambassador Maui will continue to be a close friend and supporter of Vietnam-Sweden relations in any future role. The Russian Academies of Sciences on Tuesday hosted a roundtable discussion titled Russia and Vietnam 30 Years of Signing of the Treaty on Principles of Friendly Relation in Moscow. Speaking at the event, expert and scholar emphasized that the treaty led a crucial foundation for advancing the relationship between the two countries to a strategic partnership and later to a comprehensive strategic partnership. This has significantly bolstered Vietnam-Russia relations, addressing the mutual needs and interests of both nations and aligning with regional development change. The discussion also focused on future directions for bilateral relations, including enhancing cultural and educational cooperation and promoting the free trade agreement between Vietnam and the Eurasian Economic Union. Over the past 70 years, the time-tested friendship between Vietnam and Russia has remained profound, enduring through various global contexts and the evolving situations of each country. This cordial relationship is a valuable access, providing a solid foundation for Vietnam-Russia comprehensive strategic partnership, both now and in the future.
On November 6, 1979, the Hoa Ben hydropower plant, then the largest in Southeast Asia, started operations with substantial assistance from the Soviet Union, which sent 2,500 experts to support its construction and operation. This valuable aid demonstrated the faithful and loyal friendship between Vietnam and the Soviet Union during Vietnam's challenging period after reunification. On July 23, 1980, the spacecraft Soyuz 37 carried a Soviet-Vietnamese crew into space as part of the Soviet Intercosmos program. Vietnamese hero Pham Thuan became the first Asian to fly in space.
Russian friends describe the bilateral ties beautifully. The Vietnam-Soviet friendship exists on the ground, on the water, in the sky, and now in space. Wherever there are Vietnamese and Soviet people, there is friendship.
The relationship between the two peoples has been strengthened and preserved across generations. Events showcasing Vietnamese culture in Russian cities consistently receive support from local governments and Russians who love Vietnam. Vietnam remains a destination for Russians seeking first-hand experiences of the country and its hospitable people.
I want to introduce readers around the world about a modern, innovative Vietnam that I witnessed. I hope that we can make contributions to bringing the image of Vietnam to Russians.
During phone call in March 2024, General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong and Russian President Putin continued to affirm the importance of the Vietnam-Russia comprehensive strategic partnership based on confidence and mutual interests. The Russian president's state visit to Vietnam, coinciding with the 30th anniversary of the signing of the Treaty on Principles of Friendly Relations between Vietnam and Russia, is expected to further deepen the long-standing friendship between the two nations.
Building on the cordial friendship between Russia and Vietnam and the support of their peoples, this visit will chart new prospects for bilateral cooperation across various fields, advancing mutual interests and promoting peace, cooperation, and regional and world development.
In Vietnam, Russian is a language taught at high school and university levels. Meanwhile, Russian universities are witnessing a rising number of Russian students enrolling in Vietnamese departments. The young generation are expected to contribute to nurturing the fruitful Vietnam-Russia friendship.
Coming up next on VTV News, flash floods and landslides warning for northern provinces. And Da Nang City boosts tourism development. It's just the beginning of the rainy season, but natural disaster, floods and landslides have caused huge damage in northern mountainous areas. On Tuesday morning, a landslide buried and killed 4 people in Bắc Nam district, Bắc Cạn province.
Phie is the only person lucky enough to survive the terrible landslide early on Tuesday morning. Her entire house was buried and 4 other people died.
I hadn't even had time to get out of bed. My feet touched the ground as a terrible landslide hit our house. When I was rescued, I still couldn't believe I had survived it.
The cause of the landslide was blamed on days of heavy rains in Bắc Nam district, weakening the soil layers. People said that they had not seen such heavy rain like this for 20 years. Besides the subjective factor of heavy rain, there are objective reasons. People still build houses in vulnerable areas, such as right at the foot of mountains and steep hills. Additionally, on the hillsides, people have replaced perennial trees with short-term fruit trees, which are poor at binding the soil. Rain soaks straight into the soil, creating the conditions for landslides to occur at any time.
I haven't seen anything like it, at least for decades, so I built a house up there. I didn't think there would be terrible weather like this.
According to statistics from Bắc Cạn province, this locality currently has nearly 390 points at risk of landslides, directly affecting more than 1,900 households. Local authorities are actively implementing natural disaster prevention work to ensure people's safety.
We have carried out inspections for points at risk. We encouraged people to regularly check for cracks and landslide risks around their houses.
The rainy season has just begun in northern provinces. It is forecast that floods and landslides will continue in the coming months. For natural disaster prevention to be truly effective, in addition to the government's initiatives, each citizen also needs to raise awareness of natural disaster prevention.
The Ministry of Transport has stated that the North-South Expressway project's roadmap must be completed before this year's rainy season. Among the project group with the lowest construction volume, the Quảng Ngãi-Hoài Nhân component project is reorganizing construction to accelerate progress. As time is running out, the project's construction units are mobilizing human resources, machinery and equipment to meet the schedule before the flood season.
After taking over the sites, construction units have ramped up their efforts. Many are not only focused on completing the roadbed before this year's rainy season, but are also aiming to finish the entire bidding package 6 months ahead of schedule.
We have increased manpower and equipment at construction sites by 200% to ensure the quality of the sites remains protected when the rainy season arrives.
Currently, this section of the North-South Expressway project has mobilized 42 construction units, nearly 1,600 machines and pieces of equipment, and almost 4,000 engineers and workers on site daily. This year's rainy season may come earlier than usual, bringing with it a higher level of precipitation. Therefore, the contractors have devised specific plans to deal with unfavorable weather patterns and optimize construction time to meet the schedule.
We support contractors by ensuring financial resources and materials for construction units. In addition, we also handle units that do not perform well.
This year, our goal is to complete 20 to 30 kilometers of geoconcrete mattress and finalize the tunnel lining for Tunnel 1 and Tunnel 2.
Challenges related to construction materials and site clearance have been successfully resolved. Currently, conditions are optimal to accelerate construction progress. If we complete the roadbed before the rainy season, several components of the North-South Expressway project could finish 6 to 8 months ahead of schedule.
Drug crimes continue to evolve with increasingly sophisticated trafficking methods. According to the Ministry of Public Security, Drug Crime Investigation Police Department in the first half of this year authorized seized nearly 200 kilograms of heroin, over 880 kilograms of marijuana. Criminals now hide drugs in unconventional items like heating lamps and use various transport methods for distribution, including aerial devices. Authorities also cautions about fentanyl, a highly toxic drug spreading in Asia, although it has not surfaced in Vietnam yet. An estimated 116,000 Vietnamese businesses face labor shortage of 1.9 million workers this year. Of that figure, unskilled labor account for 44%, according to data from the Department of Employment under the Ministry of Labor, Environment and Social Affairs. Overall, the industrial sector still accounts for a large proportion of labor demand, nearly 52%. Meanwhile, the service sector accounts for over 38%, and agriculture, forestry, and fishery account for nearly 10%. This shows that the wave of job cuts has ended and labor demand has returned. The labor market in the first 5 months of the year continued to recover. The unemployment rate among the working age populations is 2.24%, returning to the normal level before the COVID-19 pandemic. The Department of Employment believes the overall labor market maintains recovery momentum, but is still unsustainable. Ethnic groups always receive prioritized attention from the party and state. Several policies have been implemented to improve the life of ethnic people, thereby helping to strengthen national unity. The Mekong Delta is home to over 1.5 million ethnic communities, with the Khmer accounting for over 1.2 million people. Their lives have significantly improved as many households have escaped poverty.
Despite owning 1 hectare of agricultural land, Sun's family faced difficulties due to high levels of aluminum contamination. Since the state completed the irrigation system, he and many Khmer households in Hầm Dần District, Bạc Liêu Province have boldly switched to the rice cream cultivation model.
My family income has become much more stable. Our rice crops grow well, mushroom yields are profitable.
The Khmer people used to work for hire. As we have courage, we have changed to shrimp farming and experiencing improved family finances.
The Mekong Delta's localities have implemented several solutions to support poor and near-poor households, effectively reducing poverty among ethnic groups. The locals are introduced to sustainable livelihood and receive capital support for production and permanent houses.
Thanks to state support, our ethnic groups now have boarding schools, new houses for poor households, and priority policies. Our lives have been much improved.
Hundreds of policies for ethnic groups in the Mekong Delta have been implemented. The main goal is to build essential infrastructure and improve production, thereby contributing to changing the lives of local ethnic people.
As a major tourism hub of the Vietnamese Central regions, the city of Da Nang aims to get its tourist sector back on track this year. Solutions have been applied, and among them, festivals and global standard cultures and art events stands out as the star of the summer. These are expected to create a significant experience for tourists 24/7 in the city.
With the theme of Natural Masterpiece, the second night of the fireworks competition between the American newcomer and the two-season champion from Italy brought a spectacular performance on the banks of the Han River. Lasting until July with the participation of new teams from Germany, China, and the US, this year's Da Nang International Fireworks Festival has impressed people with its surprises.
It was so mind-blowing, so beautiful, we loved it.
For the first time, audiences enjoyed the performances of many global talents, including Domitil Ailet, the world's leading pole artist, Olga Moriva, an aerial silk dancer, and the Crystal Ladies, twin stars who once appeared at The Ellen Show.
This is a show we are looking forward to. The show demonstrates the beauty and quintessence of art. The artists all strive to bring the best experiences to the audience.
These events have brought to the place more than 200 artists, along with a series of unique shows.
All are great. I love it.
The city's Central Park was the location for a highlight with the program Waking River, which combines art and adventure sports with the participation of the world runner-up in the art of flyboarding. Visitors can experience the Fun Fest, night market, and Vietnamese puppetry. In addition, the Riverfront Symphony Art Night and fireworks shows will be held at the end of this month.
We highly appreciate the efforts of businesses in investing, researching and building events and shows. These services contribute to the overall development of the city's tourism industry.
This year, Da Nang strives to welcome more than 8 million visitors, an increase of 6% compared to last year. Experts say that, with many synchronous solutions, it is possible to completely exceed the set target.
Coming up next in our War News, Russian president visit North Korea for the first time in 24 years. And Malaysia set to join BRICS. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday began an official visit to North Korea at the invitation of North Korean Chairman Kim Jong-un. This is Russian President Putin's first visit to North Korea since 2000. According to the Kremlin, the Russian president arrived in the capital Pyongyang of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea on Tuesday night. He is expected to be accompanied by Chairman of the North Korean State Affairs Commission Kim Jong-un in signing important documents, which may include a treaty on comprehensive strategic partnership. Meanwhile, North Korean Rodong Sinmun Daily published a letter from Russian President Putin ahead of the visit, mentioning the main purpose of this visit. The Russian president said Russia and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea will develop alternative mechanisms of trade and mutual settlements that are not controlled by the West and jointly resist illegitimate unilateral restrictions. The two countries will build an architecture of equal and indivisible security in Eurasia. China has opened an investigation into pork imports from the European Union after the bloc imposed anti-subsidy duties on Chinese-made electric cars. China Commerce Ministry announced the investigation on a Monday, saying it will focus on pork for human consumption, such as fresh, cold, and frozen whole cuts, as well as pig intestines, bladders, and stomachs. Pork is China's most popular meat and a staple of diet across the country. Beijing custom data show that imports of pork and pork byproducts from EU countries totals over $3 billion last year. Malaysia will soon start formal proceedings to join the BRICS, Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said on Monday. The BRICS group of nations originally included Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which comprise the acronym. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar said Malaysia is working closely with Brazilian President Lula da Silva on expanding the membership of BRICS and is currently waiting for the final result and a response from the South African government. Along with Malaysia, Thailand also sent an official letter of intent expressing its intentions to join BRICS a few days ago. In recent years, BRICS has increased its presence in the geopolitical arena. The group sought to use expansion and de-dollarization to reshape global finance. Furthermore, BRICS has continuously sought to build a multipolar world with greater participations and competitions. Last January marked a major expansion of BRICS with 5 new members. Surely for you, making food out of thin air can only happen in fairy tales or magic shows. But recently, a Finnish startup found success in creating protein powder using carbon dioxide captured from thin air. It is noteworthy that this powder is completely edible.
Finnish startup Solar Food is offering an alternative to meat and milk. Their main product is called Solian, a yellow flour containing some 65% protein. Aside from carbon dioxide, the other ingredients needed to make Solian are electricity, microbes, water, nutrients, vitamins, and a miniature bioreactor. The Solian flour could be added to foods like bread and pasta or schnitzel. But instead of plowing, fertilizing and harvesting, the flour stems from dried liquid made in a miniature bioreactor inside a laboratory.
Solein is a single-cell protein we produce by applying a technology called gas fermentation. We grow this single-cell organism that is very rich in protein by feeding for it as main feedstock hydrogen and carbon dioxide.
The process requires significantly fewer resources than meat or milk, and the use of direct air capture to suck in CO2 from the atmosphere is good news for the environment.
Okay, so here is some lots of cells. We want to tackle this problem of land use and replace nutritionally animal, so that in the future much of the animal-like nutrition of today.
A 2021 scientific study found that a pound of Solian protein emits 130 times less greenhouse gases than the same amount of protein produced during beef production in the European Union. To further promote this advantage, this factory plans to expand its industrial scale 100 times from its current size.
And now let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's it for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.